Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Let's Talk, the series where we are as crazy as a bag of squirrels. This is your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and today, let's talk Joker, FOLIE à deux. Francophones, please forgive my terrible French. I studied the language when I was a child, and I forgot everything. Anyway, Joker 2 tells the story of what happened after Arthur Fleck was arrested for killing a talk show host on live TV. He's imprisoned in a dank version of Arkham where he's being abused by the guards while awaiting his trial. While in Arkham, Arthur meets Harley Quinzel, another patient of Arkham, where the two bond over the concept of the Joker, the idealized version of Arthur Fleck, and how he sees himself. While I like the pretentious title of this film, this movie would have been better named Joker, The Trial of Arthur Fleck, which incidentally would have made a great in-universe documentary name. My point is, nearly the entire film is a court case where Arthur is tried for the 5 murders he committed in the last movie by none other than a young Harvey Dent himself. I think this is important to know because unlike the last film where we see Arthur going places and doing things, he's almost entirely in captivity in this film, and I found that somewhat disappointing. I suppose I like to see Joker being the clown prince of crime and not a guy who's on trial for 2 hours, but maybe that's just me. There's a lot to like about this movie, starting with Joaquin himself. He's honestly just great as Arthur Fleck. I really like his portrayal, and the incredible acting Phoenix gives you in this series is so uncomfortable and charming. It's like he killed multiple people, but you kind of understand why people like him, and you feel sympathy for him when he's being abused by the guards. I thought this movie did a great job at endearing you to this disturbed character because even the audience is not quite sure if Arthur is pretending to be Joker or if Joker is just another personality that comes to the surface in order to protect Arthur. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. It should be obvious from the marketing material, but she's not playing the traditional Harley Quinn we've become accustomed to. And for the tone and themes of this film, it was the right choice. We're dealing with a disturbed individual that may or may not be aware of the severity of his actions, and to play up the silly Harley Quinn would have ruined the atmosphere of this film. So no, she doesn't have the stereotypical Brooklyn accent, nor does she call Arthur Mr. J, but I really like this version of the character. Maybe it's just that I love Lady Gaga when she's acting, but she sold me on this idea that she was crazy in love with this symbol of anarchy. And I think it would be unfair of people to not give this version a chance given how wildly different this Joker already is. Now here's where the movie fell flat for me. This film is a quasi-musical. Now, I'm a former band kid, so I actually like musicals, but the tone shift from the first film to this one just doesn't seem to make much sense. Now, I get it, the singing sections are supposed to be in Arthur's head. Mostly anyway, and that's what the first film was showing us when he was dancing all the time. But I can't honestly say they worked the way the film intended them to work, and modern audiences are just not into musicals like they once were. I mean, I went to a fan screening and quite a few people got up and left after the second or third song, which of course is disappointing because Lady Gaga is a killer singer, and surprisingly, so is Joaquin Phoenix. But I have to agree that I don't think the film incorporates the thematic elements of the music with the story they're trying to tell very well. They're often overly long and, while beautifully shot, just seemed pretentious. I also felt like this movie underused Harley because, as I said, the majority of this film is either in Arkham, where Arthur is being mistreated, or in the court, where we're basically hearing people recant the first film's events. Harley is mainly seen in these dreamlike musical sequences, but the marketing material shows her as a much larger part of the film. Hell, the trailer is a lie, as there's a scene where Harley is doing the hip thrust thing that Joker did in the first movie, but that isn't even in here, unless I looked down at my popcorn for 2 seconds and missed it. But the absolute worst sin this movie commits is its ending, which is going to piss off half the audience and completely confuse the other. There's no way Todd Phillips thought this through, as it presents either anachronisms or is fan service for the hell of it that doesn't make any logical sense. Perhaps with time I'll come to understand this better, but in the moment I was sitting there with my mouth agape for a few seconds and then immediately frowned. This actually made me angry because you take this wonderful one-off version of Joker and then you mess it up with a single scene that's going to have the internet buzzing. But I suppose that's the point, right? Hate clicks are still clicks. So I thought this movie was below average. Joaquin and Gaga are the highlights of this very sparse cast, along with Mad Eye Moody. The film is visually stunning, some of the best camera work and color grading in a comic book movie. The musical sequences, while potentially contentious, were very well done and showcase why you hire an actual singer to be in your musical. The film feels a little long, but that's because it's mostly a legal drama interspersed with singing sections that feel disjointed from its narrative. I was somewhat stunned by the ending, but then while thinking about it, I realized it was probably not a great idea, and I think it's going to make a lot of people irrationally angry, like I was in the moment. Sucks to say, but unlike the first film, I think this was more miss than hit. C-.